So we just started making these available for purchase, our hanging garden kits. We had a lot of requests for it, so I thought, why not? And they have been very well received. Obviously, one by you, since you're watching this video. It's a little more complicated than our self-watering garden, so we thought we'd do a little tutorial for you here. All right. And if this happens, it's not supposed to, but if it does, no big deal. This is the cage. I came up with this cage idea when we were doing tomatoes and arugula in our hanging gardens. My mom likes to do that for the house, and the weight of the tomatoes was pulling the plants out. So I designed a little cage here. This bag we will get to later, so we'll just take that off. A little of our warm and fuzzy for you. So let's say that the cage does come off, which could happen. You're just gonna take your ring off here. And take the chain end. Once the plant's in, this is not really an issue. So I'm gonna hook it right there. So I do like that. I'm going to feed it back through. Come out the other end. Put your hook back in there. And now you can start planting whatever you would like. We do a lot of ivy because the goal when we made these was that the ivy will actually grow up once it's hanging in the tree. It goes up towards the sun, and then it looks like a little ivy ball in your trees. It looks pretty cool. But the tomatoes do it too, the lettuce does it, everything follows the sun. So as you can see here, what we got going on, I have some extra soil from another little project. So it is gonna fall through the bottom a little bit, but not too bad. I sometimes keep my hand there too. I've used pieces of the peat pots in the past to keep them in there. And like I said, this one is not quite as convenient to do. One thing I did learn, so you want my nifty spoon here, there's probably a really cool gardening tool that does this, but you know, I grab what's available, unfortunately for my kitchen. I have a little soil here too, that I'm on the side here, that I like to add in. Some of my helpers prefer to use the spoon actually to use the soil too, but I like getting my hands dirty, so I don't mind that. I'm gonna get that all down there. The reason that you want to make sure that you are frequently packing the soil inside the cage is because the soil will settle and then you'll have all this empty space in the bottle. You also want to make sure you get it on the sides in the cage too, because I did spray paint the cages, so you really can't see them or see them less. It's no big deal, but I think it looks nicer if you don't have to see the secret of what the roots are grabbing onto. Excuse me. There we go. Now, about halfway through with the wine bottle there, I am going to use the soil that these cool little curlicue ivy came in, but I would like a little more additional soil in there before I do that. Making a mess. That's part of the fun. Okay. Now you can see, yes, it's falling out a little bit, but it stops. Lay that down. Take whatever plant you are wanting to put in there. Oh, nice soil. I like to massage the roots because obviously you can see that the plant is wider than the wine bottle. So you want to make that fit. Excuse me. Oh, the wind. Get it all done there. Massage it up. do a little squeezing. Now I can see, just from my perspective, I'm going to have a lot of space there. So let's use the soil the plant came in. Now you can kind of use your hands too. Squeeze it. Now I usually use Bordeaux bottles when I'm making a hanging garden. If you're not sure what that is, I also call them the swimmer bottles, and I like them because they're wider up the top and they taper down, and I think with the gravity, when eventually it's hanging upside down, it helps. Unless someone asks me to do a custom job for them, and then we talk about the design of the bottle and the benefits of what they'd like. I've done a couple of those. People go to a vineyard and they don't know what to do with the bottle, or they have a special plant and a special vineyard. You can see that little gap there. I'm kind of a pain in the butt about that, so I would actually take the plant back out and add a little more soil, because maybe you can see that, I'm not sure. You can see the fence, the cage. So let's put a little more soil on that side, hide the cage. There we go. Packing it in. Put your ivy back in there, the curlicue ivy. Pretty excited about this. I'm that person that buys plants because they're named sometimes too. Silly like that. All right, you can see I'm kind of putting my fingers in there and smushing the plant in. Now, you're ready to go. The soil is flush with the bottom, right? What we like to do here is we'll take this bottle and we'll put it just in the ground. I usually have a potted plant. I rest it in there. I kind of shove the neck in the soil, and I leave it like this for about a week. And that lets the roots travel down the bottle to the cage that we hid. And so I like to use plants that are potted plants that I already have. So this tomato plant here, it's actually a pretty cool heirloom tomato. And I'll take the bottle and I'll just do that for a week. And then it just sits there and sprinklers get it, or I water it, or whatever the case is. And maybe you don't have that. Maybe you have more of a yard. You could just stick it in the, you want to stick it in the ground. You want to give it the support though, because it's going to be top heavy. And then after a while, after a week, I flip it over and I hang it in the tree. And then I watch the phototropism, the magic happen, with a smile on my face. You have a second little bag that came with your garden, your hanging garden. This is just kind of us, our little warm and fuzzies here, spreading the love. It's our little tag. One that has a heart, the other end says love. Sometimes they say star and a wish or dream. If you don't like these, you don't have to put them on there. And the little secret, you can also take some nail polish remover or acetone and just take those right off and write whatever you want. Write Tom's plant, or write curlicue or tomato. So you have that with a Sharpie. You have that flexibility if you'd like. We don't try to make it too permanent if you don't want it. And I would recommend, if you do want to use it, just tie it around the chain right there. Bam. There you go. It is a hanging garden. If you have any questions, you can always email us at the website. If not, enjoy your planting.